Greetings, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is the Edu on Air presentation for the 411 on Google certification. And I wanted to introduce myself. There's actually two of us here today. My name is Kate Petty, and I am the Director of Certification Program for EdTech Team. And basically what that means is that I make sure that we know exactly what's required for the certification programs. And I have with me my fantastic colleague, Lisa Thuman, who's the Senior Professional Director of Learning here at EdTech Team. And she's going to be answering all of the questions. So as you have questions, make sure you click the link for the questions, and she'll be able to answer them as we go. So we're going to go ahead and get started. A lot of this is in the slideshow, but we're also going to go live a little bit into the actual training center to kind of show you what it looks like and answer some questions as we go. So to just let you know what we're going to be looking at today, we do have the certification overview that we'll do, and then we'll take a look at level 1, level 2, the trainer program, and then the Google Innovator program. And then afterwards, we'll have some time for any sort of Q&A or anything that I may need to discuss or explain a little bit in more detail than what Lisa's going to be able to do in the Q&A app. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what kind of that timeline is for the certifications. In general, you're going to want to get it started with level 1, and then you're going to want to move to level 2. And those are for mostly just the classroom teachers, and we'll go into that in just a little bit. And then the trainer program is for those teachers who realize they have a knack for teaching other teachers and being able to engage and explain really well, different types of things to really kind of help train trainers or train teachers. And then we also, not necessarily as the 4th choice, but as an alternative certification that you can get is the Innovator certification, and we'll talk about that when we get to there as well. So let's just get started with level 1. As an overview, level 1 is 13 units, and within each of the units you have 2 to 5 lessons. Overall, that takes somewhere between 12 and 15 hours if you do it with fidelity. So if you go through with all the lessons and you do the activities at the end and you're working on the review quizzes at the end, most likely on your own, it'll take 12 to 15 hours to go through. Now it is all self-taught, all online, and you go at your own pace. So you're going to see in just a moment when I go into the training center that you sign in with your Google account. It'll keep track of everywhere you go. And you can come in and out whenever you'd like to, and it does keep track of all of the lessons you've taken a look at. When you're done with both level 1 and level 2, your next step is, if you choose to, is to get certified. And you would be becoming certified as an official Google Certified Educator level 1, and or for level 2, an official Google Certified Educator level 2. For level 1, that exam fee is $10, and for level 2, that exam fee is $25. Now, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you a special code that actually cuts your level 1 exam fee in half to only $5, so make sure you stay tuned.
Also in the Q&A.
What's that?
The exam discount code is Q&A as well.
Oh, perfect. So Lisa's actually put that discount code in the Q&A too, or I think it's actually part of it. So thank you, Lisa. And then finally, let's talk a little bit about the exam. I get a lot of questions about what does this exam look like. It is a lengthy exam. So once you get started, make sure you've kicked the kids out of the house. Make sure the FedEx guy has a note on the door saying go away. Walk the dog, and make sure you use the restroom facilities too, because the worst thing is to have to go to the bathroom when you're taking the exam. Once you start the exam, you have 3 hours to take it, and there is no pausing. So really, you do have to be taking you have to be ready to take that exam right when you get there. And one really nice thing, kind of nice thing about it is that it doesn't video record you as you're taking the exam, but it will take pictures of you. So you need to make sure you're on a computer, that it has a working camera, so that you'll take a picture of yourself at the beginning of the exam, and that picture will be taken throughout the exam. So I always tell people, don't pick your nose or anything while you're taking the exam. You just never know, right? So as you're taking the exam, that you will have that green light on your camera. It'll be flashing at you every once in a while, and then you'll go through and you'll take that exam. Now, for some people, that exam may only take an hour and a half. But for other teachers, that it may take a full 3 hours. And there are people who aren't really either paying attention to the time or just don't have enough time and they have timed out. So one of the things that you can do is take the exam again. You do have to wait 14 days to be able to register for it again. So if you don't pass, or if you time out somehow, then you always have that 14 days later to be able to take it. So let's take a look at what that training center looks like, by the way. This is the training center, and all you have to do really is to just search Google Training Center, and you'll get this page. And you'll see that you've got level 1 and level 2 here. And at the bottom, you've got your certified trainer and your certified innovator. So we'll go into level 1. And when we go into level 1, you'll notice that you have 3 options. You can get training, get practice, or get certified. And my strong suggestion would definitely be to go through the training. Even for Google professionals and Google people who've been using Google for a really long time, it's still a very good idea to go through. You may not go through may not take as much time, but it's definitely a good idea to go through every single one of these. So you'll see that I clicked on that, and you'll also see that it says to sign out, which means I am signed in. It may pop up and ask you to sign in. And you'll see here's your 13 units, and like I said, 2 to 5 lessons in each unit. So if I click on 1, get ready to use technology in the classroom, you'll notice that this one has 4 lessons, and then there is a unit review at the end. And the lessons aren't really that long, so if I go to this first one, you'll see that it's just a few paragraphs, but there are some activities, and there is sometimes video and audio and cards to take a look at as well. Here we have a YouTube video. We go down a little bit farther, you'll see we have some activities to go through, and then there's a small lesson check. So go through and answer the questions in the lesson check, and that's how you get those green, or you go through and answer all these, and then when you get down to the bottom at unit review, that's where you get those green check marks that you saw in mine that showed that it was done. So you'll see that you can take that unit review when you're finished with those lessons all down here. And as you go through, you'll submit your answers, and then it'll take you straight into, if you look on the right-hand side here, it'll just take you straight into the next unit. Now, if you don't get an 8 out of 8, or, it's so funny, as teachers, we always have to have like a perfect score. And so if you get a 7 out of 8 or a 6 out of 8, go ahead and take the test again. Nobody's keeping track of how many times you take these little quizzes. And keep in mind, these are just quizzes. These quizzes really have no effect on your certification in general. So if I scroll down, like I took this unit, it'll take me right into unit 2, and you'll see in unit 2 there's only actually 3 lessons, and then the unit review. And like I said, about 12 to 15 hours for this one, and also for level 2. So we're gonna go back. That's pretty much it on the level 1. Level 1, oh, by the way, what it does cover is basically all of the foundational skills for Google. So these are classroom lessons taught or created by classroom teachers. And they cover Drive, Docs, slides, spreadsheets, forms, a little bit of drawings. It also includes YouTube, Classroom, Gmail, Calendar, and then it also includes a little bit of digital citizenship and copyright fair use. So it's a nice, fantastic little package for a teacher who's just kind of beginning to integrate technology into their classroom, and it helps really with that confidence level. But as I mentioned, if you're not a teacher who's just beginning to integrate that technology, I would still strongly suggest that you go through the lessons and you take those quizzes before you decide to take the test. Lisa, were there any specific questions for level 1?
Oh, sure. Well, they're not specific to level 1, but I think that this would be a great time to talk about it before you move on to level 2. Dan D in the chat asked for some pointers on what the exams cover. So maybe you can just kind of do that rundown for level 1.
Oh, I can totally do that. That's because I just retook my level 1 exam last week, so I could remember what was on it. So there are a handful at the very beginning of the test, multiple choice questions. type questions, I should say. So multiple choice, drag and drop, check all that apply. Sometimes it'll say check 2 or check 3, or, you know, it'll actually tell you how many to check, which is nice, because I think that those kinds of questions are the ones that give teachers like the most fear. Now, the whole rest of the exam, so that may only take you about 30 minutes to get through those 24, 25 questions. The whole rest of the exam, there's 12 tasks, performance tasks. And so what actually happens is when you register for the exam, you have to wait 24 to 48 hours for an email, because they've created a special testing Google account for you. And when you get this email with your username and password for this testing account, you open a new incognito window when you're ready, and you go ahead and take the exam in that testing account. So you're going to find when you log in that there are already documents in the Drive and in the Gmail and in the calendar that you're going to either have to do things with or create in addition to those. So make sure, I love this exam in that it really asks you to prove that you know how to do things. And it is so satisfying at the end when we finish and we were like, I know this was fantastic. So that's kind of what the exam looks like, and then also all of the apps that are covered in level 1. Was there anything else, Lisa?
Sure. The other question was a great one from Amber. She asked, what are the benefits of these certifications?
That's a really good question. And everyone, I think, will have a different reason for why they choose to decide to get the certification. For new teachers, pre-service teachers, and teachers who are looking for new jobs, I think this is an absolute fantastic thing to have on a resume. You're going into an interview with a potential, you know, with your potential principal, and you'll be able to prove with these certifications that not only do you know how to use technology, but especially once you finish level 2, it also proves that you really can purposefully integrate that technology into your classroom. There is a strong purpose for why your students are doing the things they're doing on the computer and the devices. For other teachers, it's one of those things where you just need to, I'm this way actually. I just need to prove to myself that I can do something, and these kinds of things are really exciting. So I really love getting my level 1, level 2s, any kind of certification I can when I'm interested in it, so that I can prove to myself I know it. Now, if you ever wanted to become a Google trainer or a Google innovator, which we'll talk about in just a second, you actually do need to have, for the trainer program, both level 1 and level 2 complete in order to apply to be a trainer. Now, for the innovator program, I believe it's still only level 2 that's required. You don't have to have your level 1 for the innovator program, which that's another question I get a lot too, is do you have to have level 1 in order to do level 2? And no, you can do these independent of each other. So if you don't want to get your level 1 and you want to go straight into level 2, that's fine. However, I would strongly recommend taking level 1 so you know what the exam looks like, and then you're going to be ready for level 2, which is a little more difficult. All right, Lisa, I'm gonna go ahead and move on unless there's something else that you think that I should answer right now.
No, perfect. Let's talk level 2.
Let's talk level 2. So you got most of the gist of all of the level 1s and level 2s in that last level 1. But in level 2, you've got your 9 units. So instead of the 13, there are 9, 2 to 5 lessons in each. Again, it's a good deal amount of time to take through this level 2 curriculum. And here's the reason why for level 2. Well, it has advanced sheets and advanced docs and advanced, calendar and Gmail and advanced classroom, all the more advanced features of things. For instance, just to give you an example, something basic that you would see in level 1 with spreadsheets is maybe basic charts and I don't know how to add a whole column up using basic sum features. However, level 2, if you're looking at sheets and you're going through the curriculum, you're going to learn how to use conditional formatting, and you're going to learn how to use pivot tables. So you're kind of really stepping up into some of those advanced features. Level 2 also, and it's a little tricky, level 2 has a lot of things in it that you may not necessarily know, even if you're a super guru, Google guru. For instance, you'll find hyperdocs in level 2. And multimedia text sets. And if you don't know what those are beforehand, you're not going to be able to immediately take the exam. You're definitely going to want to work through the coursework before you take the exam for level 2. So level 2, again, is a go at your own type of pace. There are review quizzes at the end. Make sure you take those. The exam fee is a little higher. So for level 2, the exam fee is $25. Same thing, same type of test for level 2. So you'll have a handful of those drag and drop multiple choice questions at the beginning, and then you'll actually have to sign into a testing account and do things and create things in that testing account to prove that you know how to do some of the things. One question that I'm asked a lot for the exam fees is, are they ever lower? Or are they, can you get a discount? Generally, no, but as we had mentioned before, there is that code to get a little bit off for your level 1 exam. And Lisa put that in the chat, and then it's also at the end of the slideshow. That's about it for level 2. Are there any questions that I can answer right away, Lisa?
Well, I know some people are really just want to know, you just went over HyperDocs and multimedia text sets. Anything else, like maybe the specific apps that are covered on level 2?
So all of the apps that I mentioned before, all of the G Suite apps. So you've got your docs and your spreadsheets, forms, drawings, and slides, but all of them in advanced levels. You're really going to want to know how to do is create a hyperlink and make sure that you know how to hyperlink a word or a paragraph to a website or some other resource. A couple of other things that are mentioned in level 2, while you don't see much of YouTube in level 2, although there is some YouTube, you're going to get introduced to Google Maps in level 2. And you're also going to see coaching techniques and personalized learning. So personalized learning, you're going to get into blended learning, flipped learning, and PBL. And then for the coaching, you're going to get into how, different types of coaching with the teachers and your colleagues. So peer coaching, creating just small site type coaching things that you can be able to do with the teachers at your site. Level 2's big theme, I think, is kind of teaching beyond the walls of your classroom. So almost everything that's in level 2 is designed to help students move away from kind of their desk and what they see in front of them and explore either the internet, through a HyperDoc and reading about resources, or even getting into virtual field trips using connected classrooms and things like that. So level 2 really is that learning more advanced lessons, but then also learning how to get your students and your classroom out into the world. Is there any other, are there any other questions about specifically level 2?
Oh no, we've got some questions once you get to certified trainer.
All right, so here we go. Let's do it. So certified trainer, this is really exciting, actually. The whole old training program, if you had been around the old training program, you were having to take 5 exams and they were a little bit outdated, and then apply to be an official Google certified trainer. Well, what's really fortunate and fantastic is that Google completely revamped the training program, and they released it on September 1st of this year. That new release has different requirements that are requisites to be able to apply for the Google Trainer program. Those prerequisites are level 1 certification, level 2 certification, a trainer's essential exam, which is I'll talk about in just a second, and then you actually have to apply in an application process to become a Google certified trainer. Now, the next trainer application deadline is December 31st. So if you have your level 1 and or your level 2s and you'd like to apply, you still have time to be able to do that for this quarter. So once you get your level 1, level 2, I'll take you actually over to the training center. And I'll go back over here to the training. You'll see that there's the level 1, level 2. Let's go into the trainer course, and you'll see that that is very much designed like the level 1, level 2s. There are 7 units, and each unit has about 2 to 3 to 4 maybe lessons in them. This is a significant, this has significantly less impact on your time. I think really, if you do this with fidelity, it may take maybe more like 5 to 10 hours to be able to get through all of this. If you go through and do the lessons. Now, what I absolutely totally love about the new trainer program is that it's not focused on Google Apps. They assume that you know how to use those Google apps by requiring that you know you have your level 1, level 2s. And so what the trainer course really is, and you're seeing this in the title, in all of the titles, is how do you teach adults effectively, and what are the best coaching practices to be able to engage and retain knowledge with those adults that you're teaching. You learn how to create, a coaching plan for anything with your own PLC to an entire district site level type of thing. There are also sorts of really fantastic scenarios in this trainer program that really ask you, okay, here's the situation, what would you do? And some really good suggestions from Google trainers as to what their answer would be as well. So once you take this 7-unit trainer course, you can actually take the Trainer's Essentials exam. I believe that Trainer's Essentials exam is, my goodness, I think it might be $15. I probably should know that. And then and it's really short. There's no performance task. You can sign up to take it right away. I want to say between 20, I think everyone has a different number of questions, but it's anywhere between 20 and 30 questions. And you just take, you take them. A lot of the not the questions, but a lot of the training center material does also, which I forgot to tell you about, include the US laws for FERPA and COPPA. And you're going to want to know your Google branding. So it does have a whole unit just on, once you become a trainer, how are you able, legally to be able to use images that you're taking out of Google, and how do you use their icons legally as well. So once you get your Trainer Essentials exam done, you can apply. So when you click Apply Now, it'll take you through, and it'll ask you to sign in and register. And then it is about a 3-page application process. So the first page is really just getting your registration information. And the second page is all of the hard stuff. So you are going to be asked to, link to your exam certificate for level 1, your exam certificate for level 2. It's going to ask you to link to your trainer's certificate for the Trainer's Essentials exam. It's going to ask you for a case study, and it's going to ask you, lots of questions about, what do you consider as an effective lesson design? And you can actually go through and register for this exam and look at all of the questions ahead of time. You could actually do it now. That way, you can take all the questions, put them in a Google Doc, and type them all out, somewhere where you're not having to type into these boxes and then copy and paste those answers back into the application. So like, as I mentioned, the applications are due on the 31st. There's usually a really quick turnaround. You should know within 4 weeks or so whether or not you became a trainer, and you'll get an email notification of that with instructions for how to proceed. Lisa, is there any type of question specific to trainers that I can answer that I haven't?
Well, actually, can we take a pause and answer the question, what happens if someone fails the exam?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned this before. It's okay to fail these exams. You can take them again. You still have to pay the money to take them again. But if you fail the exam on the first time, you can take the exam again within 14 days. I think if you fail the second time, it may up it to 21 days. They kind of penalize you in that way. But there is no penalty overall for failing an exam. So don't, my heart still beats every time I take one of these tests. And it always will beat for us. We'll always be nervous, but just note that if you fail, at least you know what you want to study for the next time, and you have that 2-week period to be able to do it. Anything else?
Awesome. Yeah, and we've got people here, Kate, from all over the world, like all over the world. It's pretty cool. And one of the questions is the training center or the exams available in any other languages?
They are available. So the trainer exam, I'm not sure how many different languages, but definitely in French and Spanish. So those exams you can get in those other languages. As far as the training center itself, I believe it's just a translation. So I think you're just relying on Google Translate when you're looking at that training center. So you may have to fill in a few awkward issues, but the exam itself does have different languages that you can take it in. Anything else?
Actually, I think the last question that I have so far, and there's dozens of questions, but we can hold off until you're done with the rest of the last certification.
All right, which is Innovator. So Innovator is kind of precious to me, and I think a lot of people. The Innovator program used to be called the Google Certified Teacher Program, and the Innovator program happens infrequently. So it could happen once a quarter in 1 year, or it could happen, 6 or 7 times in 1 year. You never really know when it's going to happen. But what happens is the Innovator program, and you'll see on my bullets here, are for teachers who want to change the world, who want to change education. So if that you have an idea of something that can be scaled on a kind of a revolutionary, in a revolutionary way to really help educators, administrators, education in general around the world, you want to apply for the Innovator program. And what the Innovator program will let you do is you will have to pay for your own travel to get wherever that Innovator program happens to be, but you do get to spend 2 to 3 days on a Google campus. Usually it's a Google campus. Google's gonna feed you really well, so you really don't have to worry about food for the program, but they're going to not only have you go through some really amazing and exciting sessions while you're there, but they will give you and assign you a mentor. And that mentor will stick with you for a full year as you design and create and implement your Innovator project that you've created, that you got into the Innovator program with. So for the Innovator, if this sounds like something you want to do, the Innovator program, level 2 is a prerequisite for that. As I mentioned, level 1 isn't, so you could just take the level 2 if you choose, although level 1 always, does look better if you're level 1 as well. And it's an application process, just like the trainer program was. So you do have to apply through an application process. There are different dates of the programs. In fact, the Mexico City program just ended yesterday, right, Lisa? They were down in Mexico City, and it was all in Spanish. I believe it was about 30 educators, and that Innovator program just finished. The one before that was in Toronto, Canada. And so they are centrally located mostly in the North America area, but they do have Innovator programs out and about in other parts of the world. They've had one in Australia. They have them in London, and they have them in other places as well.
And they haven't announced the Innovator Academies yet for 2017.
They haven't, and because this last one just ended, I suspect it's going to be happening anytime. So make sure you check that page, the web page for the Innovator program, and just follow actually the Google for Education's hashtag. They'll usually announce that along, and EdTech team, of course, will announce it as well. We help out a little bit with that program, and we can, if you'll watch our hashtag and follow it, we'll let you know when and where the Innovator program will be next. So once you apply and you get if you get accepted, and you usually find out if you're accepted within a week. It's very, very quick. They don't make you wait a very long time, because usually then once you're accepted, you're flying out most likely to wherever the location is in about 2 months or less, most likely. So you're going to want to book your travel and your hotel and everything, as soon as possible. Although a lot of Innovator groups will get together beforehand, all of the people who were accepted, and choose the same hotel and things like that, so they're all staying together. I was lucky enough to get into the Mountain View Innovator, well, it was a Google Teacher program, but Innovator program in 2012. It was a lot of fun. We had this whole community just for us, and we planned to stay at the same hotel. And we all, traveled together over to the campus. It was a lot of fun. And Lisa, you were in the 2008 Innovator program?
2007.
2007 in
New York.
New York. I'd love to go to New York for that. That'd be fun. So that's the Innovator program in a nutshell. And you can learn more, obviously, if you go to the certification website for Google and get a little more information. Are there any questions about Innovator programs specifically?
Not specifically, but the number one question seems to be, and I'm cobbling together a few different questions, is what is the benefit to being a certified trainer or certified innovator or passing these level 1 and 2 exams? How do other educators use these exams, like beyond just putting it on their resume?
I do know that a lot of, and we only have a minute left. We're going to go over probably about 5 minutes, which I think is about the time we're allowed to. But what I'm seeing is that a lot of districts and principals are asking the teachers to do this so that they have this, they are able to tell their communities that their teachers are ready for this next generation of devices, this next generation really of education. And so there are a lot of districts who are saying, you know, this is important to us. We'd like for you to go through and do this so we can tell, you know, our community knows that we care about this. We want our students to succeed, and we are doing that by supporting our teachers. Now, for the training program specifically, once you become a Google certified trainer, you get put in the trainer directory, and you're able to, on behalf of Google, do trainings around the world. And you know, you can contract with districts. You can go into districts, you know, paid or not paid, your choice, and you are able to perform these trainings. You know, anything really Google in education as a Google trainer. It is a nice badge to have if you are interested in pursuing professional development as a second job or your primary job. The innovator program's a little different. That is really for those teachers who have a project and they just want to lead, and they want to lead something. They want to lead their project. They want to lead teachers, you know, a specific set of teachers to an outcome. And so that is a little different in that it doesn't have to do, you know, with teaching teachers necessarily Google. It's more like, how can I make education better? And you are put into an exclusive community where you have, you know, a tribe of teachers who feel the same way, and you can chit chat in the groups, and you get together at socials and things like this at the major conferences like ISTE and whatever your ISTE affiliate might be. One thing I did forget to show everybody that I really want to show actually is in the training center. There is, if you go into, you know, any of them, there is something at the very bottom. You'll see fundamentals is level 1, level 2. There is some device training, the trainer course, but there's this progress button. And if you are, if your school will accept hours of professional development based on what's here, you'll notice that, you know, this is my job. I'm actually in this center a lot, 50 hours worth. But this actually keeps track of how many hours and minutes you are progressing through these training programs, and you can actually print this page up and turn it in if your district will accept that for professional development credit. Lisa, was there anything else?
No, I think that's it for right now, Kate.
All right, so here's that slide about the 50% off of the level 1 exam. I believe Lisa also put this in the chat for this particular session. So if you use the promo code, which is there, and I'm not even gonna try to say that out loud, you can get the exam for only $5, but you have to use it before December 11th, or you have to sign up before December 11th. Once you register to take the exam, please note that you only have 7 days to take it. So if you register today, you only have until next Friday, next Saturday to be able to take the exam, or it'll expire and you'll lose that money. Oh, I last wanted to say, if you're the teacher who just would rather just dedicate a whole weekend to getting it done, EdTech Team does offer level 1, level 2, and trainer boot camps somewhere near you. So feel free to go to edtechteam.com/bootcamps to learn more about those and where the locations are as to where we're holding them. And I think we've already done the Q&A, and that's about it. Lisa, was there anything else that I missed that you can think of that would be helpful?
Oh, no, the only thing that I would add, Kate, and you know, having been involved with this for so many years, the both of us, is the community that you become a part of, especially with the certified innovator and the certified trainer. We're a close-knit group. We have meetups. We present at conferences together, and it's just a really great opportunity.
Yeah, it's like that TV show Cheers, where everyone knows your name. It really is. It's amazing how many of us there are, but how many we know everybody. We know each other, and it is a really embracing, I would even call it tribe, to be a part of if you can get in, especially for those trainers and innovator programs. The level 1, level 2, if you ever have any questions as you're going through that, feel free to go to the EdTech team community on G+ and ask questions. You'll get answers in seconds in that community as you're preparing for those exams. If you have any other questions, feel free to keep adding them to the question and Q&A chat here, and we will be happy to answer them throughout the weekend as things are swirling around in your heads. But other than that, well, if you can hear my dog, she says thank you, and I say thank you too, and we hopefully will see you sometime soon at an event or one of the Google events. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.